The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for professional medical advice.
Hello, this is Karen Nickel, family nurse practitioner, and you are listening to Itchy and Bitchy, a podcast that provides answers to your many unanswered health questions. Have you ever heard the medical term sarcopenia? If this word is unfamiliar to you or only slightly familiar to you, stay tuned because that's what I'll be talking about today. But first, I want to remind you about my course called The Perimenopause Answer. If you are going through this phase of life called perimenopause, I would love to have the opportunity to talk to you about the course to see if it's the right fit for you. There is a link on our website, itchyandbitchy.com, and our Facebook page, INB Podcast, where you can schedule an appointment for a Zoom call with me. I know I've said this numerous times, but again, this is a Zoom call with me. It is not a webinar. So when you make an appointment, I will be sitting at my desk waiting for you to join the one-on-one Zoom call. Sarcopenia, what the heck? If we break down the word to figure out what it means, the Latin word sarco means flesh, and the Latin word penia means lack or deficiency. So sarcopenia is the medical term we use for loss of muscle. Are women under-muscled? And if they are, what do we do about it? A wellness-focused physician says that, quote, as a country, we are under-muscled, end quote. If some of you or many of you have noticed a decline in your muscle mass and difficulty building muscle mass, you are not alone. 45% of older Americans, especially women, have this problem. The medical term, again, for muscle loss is sarcopenia. The loss of muscle is a key component of physical decline. I'm just going to say that again. The loss of muscle is a key component of physical decline. When we lose strength, we are at much greater risk for falling and injuries due to falls. And those falls are the leading cause of injury-related deaths in older adults. The problem is so significant that the Office of Women's Health recently launched a sarcopenia awareness campaign so more people know about this issue. That campaign is called Stronger Than Sarcopenia. And the goal, as quoted from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services website, is to, quote, raise awareness of sarcopenia in women, a condition characterized by loss of muscle mass, strength, and function in adults 65 and older, end quote. Sarcopenia is often made worse by a lack of physical activity, and studies have found a nationwide decline in physical activity in recent years due to the changes in lifestyle during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet another COVID pandemic gift. We now know more about the causes and effects of sarcopenia, so it is important that women and healthcare professionals know the latest information on the problem so the best care can be provided to correct it. Most of us are aware of the risk of bone loss as we age. Most of us have heard the terms osteopenia and osteoporosis, and that addressing those problems is key for women to maintain good body function and mobility. The same is true for addressing muscle health as we age. So, we lose muscle mass as we age if we are not physically active. We also don't eat enough protein. And for menopausal women who are not on HRT, our testosterone levels are low, and testosterone helps with building and maintaining muscle mass. The good news is that no matter your age, there are steps you can take to help maximize your strength. Resistance training is key, But equally important is eating adequate amounts of protein. And I will talk about how much protein we need and how to increase our protein intake after this brief break. Hello again. Research shows that most women in the U.S. do not consume enough protein, and adequate protein intake is half of the equation when it comes to muscle building and maintenance. Protein is present in all of our cells, including muscle cells, so it is critically important for the health of our body. Also, our bodies are constantly recycling protein. Our body steadily demands a new supply of protein to function appropriately. So, guess where those supplies come from? Protein-rich foods. When we provide the body with protein-rich foods, we give the body the amino acids that will become the building blocks of new proteins to replenish that supply. Muscle mass peaks in our 30s and then starts a long, slow decline. So you may have noticed this in yourself. As we age, it is important to take in protein from food faster than our body is breaking it down. So how much protein is that, you're probably asking? Responding to the expansion of scientific knowledge about the roles of nutrients in human health, the Institute of Medicine has developed a new approach to establish recommended dietary allowances, or RDAs, and other nutrient reference values. The new title for these values is called Dietary Reference Intakes, or DRIs. This is the inclusive name being given to this new approach. The Dietary Reference Intakes, the DRIs, previously known as the Recommended Daily Allowance, RDA, is a minimum of 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That's about 0.36 grams, a third of a gram, of protein per pound. So if you multiply your weight in pounds by 0.36 grams, you would get, let's say your weight is 150 pounds. They're saying you should consume at least 54 grams of protein a day if you weigh 150 pounds. Just as an aside, the Institute of Medicine response to knowing more about the roles of nutrients in human health, finally, has developed a new approach, their words, to establish nutrient reference values. That being said, as you will soon find out, the recommended protein levels I've just reviewed with you, like a 150-pound person should get 54 grams of protein a day, are not nearly sufficient. So I am not sure how much improved the recommendations are following the name change from recommended daily allowances to dietary reference intakes. That's just my opinion. Okay, enough of my little rant. On to the fact that many experts say that the amount recommended based on 0.36 grams per pound of body weight is not enough. As we age, we need more protein, and if we are exercising a lot to build more muscle, even more protein is needed. The experts in sports medicine recommend up to 0.78 grams of protein per pound of body weight each day for people who are actively training, which is about 115 grams of protein per day for a 150-pound person. 115 grams. The dietary reference intakes states that 54 grams for a 150-pound person is recommended, which is half of what the sports medicine experts recommend to maintain and build body mass. Most young adults get enough protein in their diet, but as we age, that is just no longer true. A study in 2019 found that about 30% of men in their 50s and 60s and nearly half of women aged 50 and older do not eat enough protein. Now, it can be tricky to get 100 or more grams into your daily diet. You have to be intentional about your food choices and strive to include protein in every meal and snack. It is definitely easier to achieve for people who are not vegetarians because 1/2 a chicken breast contains 26.7 grams of protein. You're already a quarter of the way there. Plus, it contains B vitamins, zinc, and selenium. Lean beef should be eaten in moderation because large amounts of red meat in the diet has been linked to a higher risk of developing some health conditions like colorectal cancer. A 3-ounce serving of lean beef, which is about the size of the palm of your hand, contains 24.6 grams of protein. It is also high in iron, zinc, selenium, and vitamins B6 and B12. Fish is a terrific source of protein and contains nutrients like iodine, selenium, and B12. Fatty fish like salmon are also high in omega-3 fatty acids, which have powerful health benefits. Those who include a lot of fish in their diets tend to have fewer health problems like heart disease and type 2 diabetes. 1/2 of a salmon fillet will give you a whopping 30.5 grams of protein, and a cod fillet will outdo that and give you 41 grams of protein. Turkey breast has a lot of upside in that it has a lot of protein, it's very little fat, and is low in calories. It also provides vitamins and minerals like zinc, selenium, B12, and B6. And a 3-ounce serving, remember the size of your palm, provides 25.6 grams of protein. The category of shellfish includes shrimp, oysters, clams, and scallops, and they are also excellent sources of protein. They also contain the vitamins I listed for the previous foods, and a 3-ounce serving of cooked clams has 21.8 grams of protein, and 3 ounces of shrimp contain 20.4 grams of protein. If you eat a vegetarian but not vegan diet, eggs and dairy products will also pack a protein punch. In the dairy category, a 7-ounce container of Greek yogurt will give you 19.9 grams of protein in 7 ounces. Greek yogurt is definitely protein packed. Cottage cheese is also a good one. I always forget about cottage cheese. I love it, and we never have it in our house. But this fact is a good motivator for me to add it to my grocery list. 1 cup of cottage cheese has 28 grams of protein. I really, really need to add that to my lunch menu. Now, to be honest with you, I am not a big milk drinker. As a matter of fact, I use plant-based milks for my morning coffee, but 1 cup of milk has 8.32 grams of protein, 8.32. For those who are vegan or can't tolerate cow's milk, each serving of Ripple, which is a pea-based milk, has 8 grams of protein, and according to its manufacturer, it has 50% more calcium than 2% dairy milk, more vitamin D, and contains only half the sugar of 2% dairy milk. I've talked about Ripple as a good non-dairy milk option on a previous podcast. Whole eggs are also an excellent way of getting protein that's easy to absorb. The white of eggs is almost pure protein, but the whole egg includes the yolk, provide many more nutrients, including vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and healthy fats. 1 large egg will provide 6.3 grams of protein. And remember, eggs are out of jail. They are out of jail. We always told people, don't eat eggs, don't eat eggs, don't eat it. We've let those things out of jail. Plant-based high-protein options include nuts. Almonds are rich in important nutrients that can lower heart disease risk and high blood pressure. 1 ounce, which is about 23 almonds, will give you 6 grams of protein. You can also get almost 6 grams of protein in 49 pistachios, and 18 whole cashews have a little over 4 grams of protein. 1 ounce of peanuts which is 28 shelled peanuts have over 7 grams of protein, and 2 tablespoons of smooth peanut butter also has over 7 grams of protein. As an aside, always check the ingredients in the peanut butter you pick up from the grocery store shelf. Many of them have sugar listed as their first ingredient. Many also include palm oil, which is a saturated fat that can increase bad cholesterol and raise the risk of heart disease. There are brands that contain just peanuts and sometimes usually some salt. One brand called Crazy Richard's Peanut Butter contains only peanuts and is sold at our local Kroger store. Smucker's is a brand many folks know, and they have a natural creamy peanut butter that contains only peanuts and a small amount of salt. If you're a Trader Joe's shopper, their Trader Joe's creamy salted peanut butter contains only peanuts and salt. The fewer ingredients in the peanut butter, the better. I also absolutely love pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. Love them. And they're easy to add to yogurt or a salad, or you can just grab a handful. 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds have almost 9 grams of protein, and the same amount of sunflower seeds gives you 7 grams of protein. Many of you know about Ezekiel bread, which is different from most breads in that it is made from organic and sprouted millet, barley, spelt, wheat, soybeans, and lentils. 1 slice has 6 grams of protein. Of course, you can always include some protein powder in your smoothie or yogurt or coffee. A scoop of whey protein has over 16 grams of protein, and 1 scoop of pea protein powder will provide 15 grams. And pea protein powder is a really nice option if you have any kind of dairy sensitivity or allergy. My collagen peptide powder that I use every day that's by Vital Nutrients contains 18 grams of protein in 2 scoops. Consider replacing your rice with quinoa, which has 8 grams of protein in 1 cup of the cooked grain. To get 100 grams of protein in one day, I'm going to give you some sample meals. For one day, to get 100 grams of protein, you can start with Greek yogurt with pumpkin seeds and pecans on top. This breakfast gives you 28 grams of protein. For lunch, you can make a salad and you can add grated Parmesan cheese, garbanzo beans, and canned tuna, and you will get 39 grams of protein. For a plant-based dinner, you can include black beans, lentils, and farro, which is a high-protein grain, and get your final 33 grams of protein to equal 100 grams of protein in a day. Getting enough protein daily is essential for good health. Again, to calculate your protein need, take your body weight times 0.78, and that sum gives you the number of daily grams of protein you need. Remember that weight-bearing exercise is also a key component along with increased protein intake to be able to build and maintain muscle mass. Fortunately, we have many high-protein foods from which to choose, including animal and plant-based sources. Thank you for listening and for sharing the podcast with others. If you listen using the Apple Podcast app, please review us and leave us a rating. Those reviews and ratings really matter. I encourage you to visit our Facebook page, IMB Podcast, where you can leave comments or questions for me. Our website is itchyandbitchy.com, and there we have blogs with some of our subjects available for you to read. On the Facebook page and website, we have the information about how to schedule an appointment with me. Again, it's not a webinar, so we can chat about how my perimenopause course can help you if you are going through this phase in life. As always, thanks to Forrest Wenzel, our producer and composer of our theme music, and the person who does all the behind-the-scenes work to make this podcast possible. Thank you, Forrest. Check out his album called An Awful Lot. Go to wherever you stream your favorite music to listen. And if you don't know where to stream music, you can find the album on Apple Music or Spotify. And always remember, your health is in your hands.